So happy to be here again with you, ladies and gentlemen, on research methodology. And we reach for the research process and still in the formulation of research hypothesis. Say that we wanted to do a research like we did in Bosnia and one of the organization called Marhamat, which is we are proud to work with them for a certain time to eliminate poverty or to bring less poverty in the community. Since they've been a humanitarian NGO, the research was based on first we study or observe or collect the data or categorize the data of relevant of how many people they are helping, what type of these people, what are their types, are they people who need food, they need shelter, are they young or old, are they disabled or elderly, can they cook or they cannot cook. So this type of data was important to bring for us the solution or the problem statement that that this organization should work in eliminating poverty, not supporting poverty, not supporting those who are in poor status. So for that, we, for example, we studied whether they again are really eliminating poverty in the society or increasing or establishing poverty without they are knowing because of their good intention and so on. So for example, we ask, for example, how many of these 300 people that is helped on daily basis, they can cook. So we gone and visit their houses and we collected the data. We've seen again whether they can do better with financial support, whether they are young, whether they all of them need to be on the system of support, or they can be let's say arrange that they get some work and they can be self-dependent and so on. So this type of questioning is very important because it will help us to see who we can educate, who we can, for example, give them certain type of support, whether cook food or non-cook food. Okay, who can be, let's say, trained over time to be out of the system of poverty. So again, and when we formulate the hypothesis, we need to first to have a tentative solution for the problem. Like we mentioned in, for example, the case of Marhamat, our tentative solution was to eliminate poverty through this organization. An NGO supposed not to establish poverty by helping the poor every year the same help without studying whether they can get out of poverty. The second thing is that we need to have a good plan to verify the hypothesis. Okay, and of course, to try to seek an answer, not necessarily this answer will be to our favorite. It might not bring even a solution, but it will help us to formulate proper, let's say, answer to the question we are asking. And then we should really understand the meaning and the nature of the hypothesis. Okay, and this is again, the researcher, he should focus on this thing so that he always again focus on the problem that he's trying or she's trying to tackle. So what is the meaning of hypothesis? The hypothesis is again a Greek word that is made of hypo plus thesis. So we know the thesis when you submit PhD or master, again, let's say your dissertation, it's called a thesis. The meaning of hypo is a tentative or subject to the verification, and thesis means to the verification. So, but while the thesis means is a statement about solution of a problem. So it is like, again, you are having a tentative, let's say, statement, or let's say a target. You are targeting to verify something through what is called a thesis, which is again the statement of a problem that you are trying to tackle. And this means that a tentative statement about the solution of the problem, which is the hypothesis, supposed to offer a solution verified empirically and based on some rationale. So there should be a rationality for this issue. And then we're supposed to have a hypothesis that can add value to our research. So which means that should be designed with a certain variables, and these variables have to be clear, and it should answer with a proper question that the target of the research. Then a hypothesis also have to be sometime even driven by descriptive or explorative question, which means that it will help us to generate a proper hypothesis if we have a proper descriptive of the problem statement we are trying to tackle or what we are trying to explore. So a research, again, problem formulation, or it needs also objectives. So the objectives are the goal that we need to attain in our study. For example, they need to inform the reader what they want to attain through the study. They need to have an extremely important, let's say, extremely important focus on the things they want to specifically clarify through this study. And the overall statement supposed to address the main issue of the study. And the objectives of the study supposed to be listed with a specific headings. For example, the main objectives have to be clearly stated, and also the sub-objectives have to be clearly stated. It is also should have a statement of the main association and relationship that we need to, or we seek to discover or establish. So the sub-objectives are specific aspects of the topic that we want to investigate within the main frame of our study. Okay, so now, for example, they should be numerically listed, and of course, it have to be worded clearly and specifically. They can communicate with the reader the intentions that we are targeting to do, and each objective actually should contain only one aspect of the study. So we should not put many things. Like when we ask a question, we should not ask many questions in one question. The same thing when we address, we put the objectives clearly. And of course, the better if it is action-oriented words, so that the reader, which is you are targeting the readers, whether they are your professors or those who are going to read your research, that it have to be, let's say, directing them what you have done to address the research thesis in general, or a hypothesis in general. So the objective should start with words such as, for example, this research target to determine, or this research target to find out, or this research target to ascertain, or this research target to explore. And then also it can be to measure. So it might, sometime you want to measure something or you want to explore something. Again, you need to put it in your objectives, but it cannot be all in one time. So when you say determine to do so and so, you put in another sentence, this research target to explore or to measure so and so. Now the wording of the objective determine the type of the research, whether this is a descriptive or a correlation or experimental research. For example, if you say we target to, let's say, measure. When we say measure, it means you're going to use a lot of quantitative data, or you might use quantitative and qualitative data. But when you say explore, you might use a qualitative data only. And thus we define the type of the research by putting the right words in general. Example of a research objective can be in descriptive studies, like to describe the type of incentives provided by a hotel, okay, for employees in Algeria, and to find out, for example, the opinion of the employees about the medical facilities provided by this 5-star hotel in Algeria. So the object, while when we say correlation study, then it means we need to ascertain the impact of training on employee retention. So when to see whether the training will keep the employee retention higher or it doesn't matter. This is the correlation study. Or to compare the effectiveness of different loyalty programs on the certain clients and so on. The hypothesis testing study is also important because through hypothesis, we can ascertain if an increase, for example, in working hours will help to increase in the incidence of drugs or alcohol abuse. So the more people work, maybe because of their pain, they might take more drugs to relieve them, or more alcohol, and so on. This is again a study that is based on correlation and also qualitative approach. Then also to demonstrate, for example, the provision of a company or organization accommodation to employees in Algeria, a hotel, whether it will reduce their turnover. If we provide the accommodation for the employee, will they stay in the company or the hotel or not? So conducting research review is very important, because through research review we can deliver the proper objectives. I think I will stop here and continue with you next time. Thank you very much.